Good morning, everyone. It's Ryanico with Ryanico's World, episode 2. And today we're going to start off with a Hail Mary. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Okay, got my coffee, said a prayer, we're ready to go. So today, same thing like from the first episode that I sent, was we're going to start off with a prayer. We're going to talk about one or two articles from EWTN, which is a Catholic, it's called Eternal World Television Network, EWTN. It's a Catholic television network, radio, kids, TV, just literally it's global. So it's in Asia, it's in Latin America, so it's a great resource for the Catholic view. And of course, they have a news arm that a lot of those articles in the news never get used in your CNNs of the world. So love to spread those accurate news about that as well. So we're going to talk about that, a little bit my opinion on those articles, if there's any opinion that I have. And then we'll talk about as far as the business side of it. If any, I like to use Robinhood. I have some money with Robinhood as far as the investment app, really cool app. And they send me emails as far as like, they call it digestible investing news. So it's really cool. It's quick. They have a little fun theme to it, so it's a kind of easy read. So I'll talk about that. Obviously, any type of news today that we have, I'll look it up on my iPhone. So my wife's iPhone, I have it here, and then my phone, Samsung. So we have different phones. We want to try that. So, but first off, I do want to talk about what happened last night or yesterday. So I was going through a background check with Lyft. Every year they do a routine background check. Not worried, but just annoyed that they stopped me from driving during the process. And what normally takes a day, maybe two, it took about 4 days because of the crazy COVID-19, the coronavirus situation right now. So I felt weird. I felt like I wasn't able to work. I physically wasn't, or legally wasn't, I guess, through Lyft. And I put all, that's basically my main income, and then with my suit business that I have. But as far as like normal income, I was using that as our main income, and had some money set aside, so not too worried, but more annoyed that, like, hey, I feel weird not working, and we had a great day these past 2 days like that. And then yesterday, I don't know, something about me, and we'll talk about that as far as the evilness of it, that we're talking about it now, my wife and I I just got real angry, and we were going to order pizza. My wife was going to make something for the kids, and it was just a miscommunication, and I just got very angry. And I threw all the food into the sink, even oil, and it was obviously with oil just greasy. I just got very angry. I told her I thought we were gonna get pizza. She didn't want pizza, so I want to surprise her to get pasta, and she was making food for the kids, and I just got angry. So my wonderful wife, she kept telling me, lower your voice. The kids are here, and it took me 2 times after me yelling to realize that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get out of here. And I left, and I did an ultimatum. I was texting her back and forth. I felt weird. Well, I'll tell you how I feel in a second. But so I told her, if you don't listen to me, I felt like she wasn't, just wasn't having, just not understanding me at some point. And I told her that. And man, it was a beautiful moment when we came back. So it was about like 4 hours of me just hanging out at Walmart. And you just think a lot after watching YouTube, after doing all these things that just numbs your mind. You stop and you're like thinking, like, what am I doing? And then I was parked in a parking lot in Walmart, and there's another car that drove up, and they smelled like smoke, and they were just there as well. And I'm like, what am I doing? And it was about 10 o'clock at night. She texted me saying she ended up cleaning the sink with all the dirty, or with all the food that I threw all together that she was making. And it just hurts me. So I had to go to confession because it really hurted me. I obviously know physical harm, but definitely emotional harm. And I knew that that's what she finds joy in, and helping out in the kitchen or cleaning the kitchen. And I threw it in her face, psychologically or hypothetically, by throwing all the food into the sink area. So we talked. I came back home. Our kids were already asleep, and our son was saying, "Where's Papi? Is Papi coming home?" And I ended up waking him up, or he was kind of going back and forth. So I got close to him. I was like, "Hi, te amo," and we started talking a little bit. He was kind of halfway asleep, but he was awake essentially, and it was just beautiful bringing that together. And I was going back and forth in my head throughout those 4 hours. I was like, no, evil is separating us. This is a time that I literally have vacation and live size. Especially, that I know my background is going to clear. So this is just being patient, being patient. And I wasn't. And I think it just hit me inside. It boiled up inside, and it took something, pizza, food, something simple, into this extreme thing where I just walked out. And I said, I'm fine, I'm getting the pizza by myself, because I wanted my son to come with me. And I yelled at him, like, get your shoes on, get your socks on, we're going. And he was crying. And one of those type of cries where it was slowly crying. Like he was confused, and we were talking about it when I came home that night, when it was just my wife and I. And man, it was so beautiful. But it took both of us to fight to come back. And I don't know, like I said, she cried a little bit more than me when I came back and we started talking. I wanted to cry, and it was just something that we got closer. It was really weird. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And it was a surreal moment that we had together. And I think, like I said, we practice chastity. And I don't know what's the answer, but somehow with chastity, it always comes in our head, even if we get real mad at each other. It helps because we don't even, I don't know, I think that got to the point, and the way she was communicating to me during that heated moment, it made me think. Those little words that she said, the kids are here, please lower your voice, is more than just food. She was saying those things as I'm talking, and I'm like, okay, I'm in the wrong, and that's why I just left, because she was right. I'm like, what am I doing? And it's almost better if I leave for a little bit and come back to calm down. But the idea is always coming back. And that's what I love, what I experienced, that is that all those things in my head, oh, go get a drink, which I never drink in more than a beer in years, and maybe a decade. And the median girl, I remember when I went to go get Pepsi or cherry Coke and Sprite, the little bigger 16-ounce cans, and I went to a gas station and I looked at the beer section. I don't know why God has given me that feeling that I never got into. I don't know why, because that was a strong moment. I wanted to, but I'm like, just don't want to. I'd rather get hyped up on soda and pop. So I got 2 pops. I'm like, I'm gonna go crazy this time. And by the time I drank one, Nancy, or my wife, texted me, and she was like, "What if you come home and we both clean it?" And I'm like, "Wow." And then she called, and I told her how I felt. I'm like, I felt like um, like you have, I feel like you always win, and please do this so I feel like I've done something, that I'm not doing a tantrum. I want to show you that you don't listen to me. And we talked about it before, as far as um, when I want food outside of the house is because to help her, so she don't have to cook, because she does cooking every day, and this is my way of helping. And so we talked about before, so that got me angrier, more angry, and I brought it up. So it's just, I forgave her, and the way she cleaned the sink, it was just the most beautiful thing. I really threw a lot of stuff in there. She was making food, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to throw it on the floor. I didn't want to throw it in the garbage for some reason. And so, anyways, it's a beautiful feeling now, because it's in the morning. I feel a lot better. We hugged. We looked at each other for a couple minutes. We kissed each other, and it's something that we can pass. And I'm happy to God that I didn't do anything crazy during that moment of just weakness. And again, it's something about chastity. I don't know how to explain it. Or maybe it's me. No, I don't think I'm any special. It's just I practice it, and it comes in my head during these moments where I'm like, okay, we know evil's trying to get with me. Come back. Text her back. Tell her how you feel. I mean, I remember in the beginning when I left, I'm like, I ain't coming back for 4 weeks. See what she says. Like, it's crazy what you think about it before, and then you just take a moment. I do not recommend YouTube, because that just prolongs it. I was watching The Office clips. If you guys like The Office, hilarious. With Michael Scott, Paper Company, or Dunder Mifflin. It's funny. But even that, it took me a long time, because I was just numb. That was my drug, to watch it. And yeah, it was funny, yeah, but I didn't think about what I was doing. It was just numb. I was just there, limbo, until I stopped, and my dad called, and we were talking about it. He said, "Oh, you're working." I lied. I was like, "Yeah, I'm working." And he said, "Oh, good. Well, it's good that you have your family at home. When you get done, head on home. Your family's waiting for you." And just common, like normally, he normally says that, and I'm like, man, it makes you think little by little, even your family members, and it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, you have people around you. We talked about it, that it's good that we don't include anyone, as long as not violence, that we're hurting each other, or drug abuse, anything. It's between us as husband and wife to deal with this, and that's why I felt more capable and more a stronger person in our marriage. She told me to, that we overcome this within the day, within 4 or 5 hours. It happened about 5 o'clock, around dinner time, and I came home about 10. So yeah, 5 hours it took for us to realize what we need to do. And I'm very sorry, because my son was like, just was confused, 4 years old, and he thought it was him, because I kept telling him, hurry up, put your socks on. And he couldn't find his shoes, so he put his socks on. So that's why I felt like I was talking to him. And then in the middle of the night, he woke up and we were talking a little bit more, and I acted as if he was a whole adult, and I was like, I'm so sorry. It has nothing to do with you. Papi gets angry, and I need to ask God for help, and I need to make the change as well, not just God. God gives me the opportunity, and I need to change. Do you forgive me? And he says, yes, papi, I forgive you, papi. Te perdono, papi. So we just have to realize what it is, and it's like I'm ready for the other next moment when evil tries to mess with me. And man, it was there too. That was the crazy part. When she told me those things, beauty and goodness came in my head when we were arguing there. And she doesn't argue a lot. She says certain words, and that's what I almost love about her. It's just, you can't fight with someone that's not willing to fight, and she doesn't. So it's a beautiful thing that I notice about her. And man, it's like I'm almost ready for next time that something might come up, and I recognize I just have to fight a little stronger, and say, no, forget about my pride, forget about, oh, who's gonna win. Just stop. So pray for me on that aspect. I don't know how long it's been, a couple minutes here, probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes of me talking about that. So pray for me. Let's continue on. Let's look at the EWTN website. And I have the Robinhood email on my phone, which I'm using to record. So we'll just use Apple stocks, as far as the stocks. But I like Robinhood. I'll figure out how I'm going to put it on my wife's phone here. So let's see, EWTN. All right, so we have EWTN News, U.S. Catholic News. Let's look that up. All right, so July 21st, 2020, which is today. The Calix Society, CALIX. And just FYI, I just pull it up and read it, and whatever comes in my head, I talk about it. So no planning. As you can see, with our kids' room, we don't have too much to plan. So it says the Calix Society. How many Catholics can grow in faith while recovering from addiction? Ooh, interesting. Addiction is crazy. Addiction is something that, again, it's me being angry is an addiction. Even though it doesn't happen all the time, but if you can't overpower it and it comes whenever it comes, you cannot overpower it. Doesn't matter if it happens once a year, it's an addiction because you cannot stop it, essentially. So Denver Newsroom, this is from a Catholic news agency. The Calix Society serves as a way for Catholics undergoing a 12-step program to integrate their faith into their recovery, staying sober and sharing in a community where they can identify Christ as their higher power. That's what it is. We can't do it on our own. We need a higher power. That's absolutely true. While it is not a replacement for other recovery programs, the Calix Society is a supplemental course for people struggling with addiction to embrace their Catholic faith. It's crazy. I don't want to get too personal, which I think I have already. There's someone that I dearly love that's going through a addiction of alcohol, specifically vodka, and I might share this with that person. What a coincidence. It's the first thing that came up for today. So I believe God is putting this all together. So it's interesting. I'll definitely share this with them. So the gatherings, which are held monthly, fortnightly, or weekly, are composed of two parts: spiritual practice and discussion. The meeting will begin in a spiritual exercise such as Mass or the Rosary. Then the group will either read from books like the 12 Steps, have speakers share their faith, or watch faith-filled videos. Ken Johnson, who is almost 29 years sober and is the program's treasurer, told the CNA, which is Catholic News Agency, that that pursuing spirituality is helpful to the recovery process, and Calyx allows recovery addicts to participate in a community that expresses a desire for the Catholic faith. Most people that eventually find us say that this is exactly what they've been looking for. They're looking for people that are in recovery, that understand the situation, and want to be able to share their Catholic faith, he said. Beginning in 1947, good Lord, when did we hear about this? Calyx was developed in Wisconsin, after Bill Montroy and several other AA members started to attend daily mass with Father Pat, a priest in the Twin Cities who also struggled with alcoholism. See, it's with everyone. We all have our, if you want to call it demons, if you're deep in your faith and you know what that means, or just we all have temptation. And that's what's crazy about it. So again, as I do this show, I want to learn about myself too, because we're all just a community. We're all a community to help each other grow in our faith and in our family. So again, my biggest flaw is anger very easily. It took dominoes, and it went from 5 minutes earlier, we were in the living room watching TV, Veggie Tales with our son, and me hanging out, laying down, and my wife went. I thought we were on understanding terms, but we didn't. She went to the kitchen. I was trying to order on the app, and it just went right away. So we all have these demons, these temptations of whatever we're struggling with, and it is real. It is real. It took from us happy, and 5 minutes later, something came inside me, and I was weak. And we had to recognize those now, because it will come again. And my wife and I talked about it will come again. And it scared me the way she texted me. She was very true. It's like, if we leave, we won't come back. And you think about it, just anger. I don't cheat on her. I don't have addiction. I don't. But again, I think in my head, my addiction is being angry quick. That's my addiction. But a normal society would say, no, you don't have those drugs, sex addictions, alcohol addiction, drug. No. So I should be fine. But no, we still have to fight for it, because at the end of the day, it destroys a family. So whatever it is, it can be gambling. It can those are higher extreme ones. But the simple one is what I feel, what I do. And it's not simple. It's still an addiction. I get angry quick and I can't control it. And yeah, I cuss, I yell. And I thank God so much that I don't hit. And like I said, it's just crazy. Do I spank my son more than I have to when I'm angry? Yes. That hurts. Do I hit him in the face? No, and I thank God. But you never know. So that's why we have to fight it now. Because it's going to come back if we don't follow. And it's going to come harder and harder. To the point where I might hit my wife. She might hit me. All these different things that we don't overcome this addiction. So please, again, I pray for you and you pray for me that let's fight this temptation, whatever it is. But we have to be honest with ourselves and say, this is destroying our family. Whatever it is, insert whatever. If you're watching too many video games or playing too many video games or on your phone, all these different things, it destroys the family. So going back to what the Catholic Society. So it was like a combination of the 12-step program plus their Catholic faith that was giving them a spiritual experience that neither one could give them by itself. During the 1970s, the program had a couple hundred Catholic units throughout the United States. He said numbers have dwindled to about 30 units, with a couple of groups in the United Kingdom. Dang, in the UK. Last summer, said Johnston, the program opened up its meetings to all recovering groups, including Sexaholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and Alcohol Anonymous, and a support group for family members of recovering addicts. He said the changes to Catholics program coincides with the national opioid crisis. Yep. In light of the opiate addiction or the opioid crisis that's going on, we basically expanded our scope to include all 12 programs, he said, or all 12-step programs. So the thing that everybody has in common is the 12-step program. Then Calix fulfills the need of the higher power in order to achieve sobriety. Man, again, it says Calix is not a substitute for a rehab or anonymous meeting. He said, noting that all members are required to have some recovery time under their belt before they are allowed to join. He said it is instead an additional tool for Catholics to discover more about their faith while being involved with outside recovery efforts. Johnston quoted the founder, Montroy, saying, AA restores your health and saves you from an early grave. Calix restores your soul and puts you on the road to heaven. Man, that's powerful. Again, with addiction, it will kill you, literally. And it's, how does it kill you? It's very simple. Again, my anger is a perfect example. It's not the top 3, but definitely if I keep having this anger, something's going to happen where it happened back in 2016 in Bastrop. A father of 3, husband, I think he was good, I'm assuming 10 years with 3 kids, 9 or 10 years. But they've been married ever since they had children, and he killed them. And look it up in Bastrop, Texas. It's sick. And you think about it, how would a man do that? And the same question, how would a man drink himself to death? How? And that's the ultimate part of it. Evil, or the devil, doesn't do it. There's different levels of the devil. And we should learn about that. And so look that up. Bowel, or Baal, Baul, is like the most simple first level of the devil. There's different, not even levels, but there's different entities of the devil. That's what I mean. Not levels, but different entities of the devil. And they come at us in any way. So simple. And there's 5 of them. And I don't know a lot of them, but or I don't know all of them, but I know the concept that they are always attacking us. Again, remember when Lucifer left heaven, he wanted to become God. That's it. Very simple. And you can't. God is God. Simple as that. And when he tried to do it, God just spit him out of heaven. So he hates everything that God created. And the most powerful, pertinent thing that he created was human beings. And I hear my son coming. I think they woke up. It's about 9:30 right now. So, but yeah, so I'll leave it like that. That temptation is everywhere. So ask yourself, what is your temptation? What is something that if it presents to you, because we don't know when it will come in our lives, when we encounter again. But ask yourself, if some XYZ encounters, what would it be if you can't say no to it? And get better, essentially. So, hola, ¿puedes cerrar la puerta, por favor? Okay. So that's my son. He's gonna play, and I will continue on the conversation another day. But that's my little beautiful son that I was talking about. So we're gonna leave with that, and I'm gonna read a saint book. You want to read a saint book?
No.
No? Hola?
Hi.
Okay. He's waving hi. Yeah. ¿Dónde está tu mami?
Ella.
Sí. ¿Puedes ir con ella, por favor?
Pero Brownie no está con ella.
Oh, sí? Okay.
Okay. I got Bob the tomato.
Yeah. So let's read something. Let's read 115 saintly fun facts.
I'm Bob the tomato.
Bob the tomato. From where? From where? Veggie Tales?
Uh-huh.
Nice. But see,
Veggie
VeggieTales. So this is his domain. So I can't say nothing because this is his fun area. So I'll let him continue, and we're gonna read Albert the Great. Albert the Great. I think we heard about it. This was not planned. So let me take a cup of coffee. But I love it. So some people thought this saint, which was Albert the Great, had magical powers. Actually, he was an expert scientist. Dang. But most people didn't know about such things in his day, so they thought he must be magic. He was an authority on physics, geography, astronomy, mineralogy, biology, and philosophy. And he taught and wrote all about those subjects. Oh yeah, he likes Power Rangers. My son likes Power Rangers. I'm reading The Saints, Albert the Great. But his most important work was applying his knowledge on those subjects to teaching and writing about God. So you can be a biologist, you could be a geographist, physicist, astronomist, and philosophist. I think that's a person who studies philosophy. Today you can do all these things, and they say, oh no, you can't be of God. Albert the Great was. He used all those, so I don't like the notion that people use that God is not for science. Well, first God created science, and he used us to learn to realize what science is. So there's always a connection there. And then Albert was a bishop and a defender of the faith, an advisor to a pope, a preacher, a teacher, and a leader. He was not magic, but he was a great and good man. Wow. That's crazy, man. So we're going to read the next one. Alexander the Charcoal Burner. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, look up Albert the Great. It's pretty interesting. Google him. Again, this is fun, saintly facts. And we'll leave it at that. And then the business news. Let's look about the business news. But going back real quick about the addiction, it is serious. It is definitely serious. If you feel like you have any addiction, please seek help. Look up that Calix, Calix. I live here in Texas, so I'm assuming there's somewhere around the country, not just Wisconsin. I'm from Ohio, so it's funny how we used to make fun of the Badgers because I still am a Buckeye fan. OH. So, but yeah, so if you find yourself that you cannot control anything, look it up. Ultimately, God is always with you. Don't ever think that you're alone, because that's what a lot of addicts feel. You name it, the top three, you will feel that you're alone, and that's evil taking over your body. But God is always there fighting back. So just pray for yourself while you're in that state. That's what I need to do. We're all in this together. Oh, that fun saying in the coronavirus. We're all in this together. I remember my brother was like, yeah, if we're all in this together, won't we share our money together? Give me some money. Can I have $5? I'm the same way. I'm like, it sounds like the rich people are saying